Hi everyone, welcome to the Peace Compass channel. This morning on Easter Monday, Pope Francis passed away. We can't overlook the symbolism of the day of his passing, as in the Catholic faith, it's on that same day that Jesus resurrected and went to sit in the house of the Father. So, for Pope Francis to depart the world on Easter Monday is to leave on a note of profound spiritual meaning. Pope Francis was a man of symbols, and today I want to take a moment to honor his life, to reflect on his legacy, and to share why he mattered to me for the preservation of peace and to millions around the world. Pope Francis' original name was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, and when he became Pope in 2013, for me this represented a significant change in the world. He was the first Pope from outside of Europe, from Argentina, and that alone was a powerful symbol of expansion and inclusion. It was essentially showing that the Church was ready to embrace the global South. His election representing the shattering of a long-standing tradition of European and especially Italian popes, and his very presence at the head of the Catholic Church signaled a powerful change. The Church was no longer only speaking to the West; it was opening its arms to the world. Do you know why Jorge Bergoglio chose the name Francis? He chose it in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, who was the patron saint of the poor, of peace, and of nature. And that one choice said everything. It set the tone for his entire papacy. He was Francis the Reformer, Francis the Humble, Francis the advocate for the earth and the voiceless. And he really lived that name. He spoke boldly about the climate crisis and the abuse of our planet. He denounced the toxic and exploitative relationship between rich and poor countries. And he reshaped the global leadership of the church by appointing cardinals from regions that had long been ignored. And so today we have 26 cardinals from Asia and 18 cardinals from Africa who will all gather in the Vatican over the next few days to elect the new Pope. Those numbers are really record numbers in both continents. As I said, Pope Francis was a reformer. He did not shy away from the hard topics. He tackled climate change, economic injustice, gay rights, the role of women in the church, and also the appalling legacy of child sexual abuse in the clergy. Also in 2013, Pope Francis did something that No Hope had done before. Instead of the traditional Holy Thursday foot washing at a basilica, he went to a juvenile detention center, and there he knelt and washed the feet of young inmates, including Muslims and women. It was a quiet gesture, a simple one, a humane one, and that act of radical humility and inclusivity moved me deeply. And from that day, I really wish I could have met him in person. He seemed to be a very open and kind leader of the church, someone who genuinely saw the world with compassionate eyes. And although his reforms were often criticized, they were very much rooted in the longing for the church to reflect the love of Christ in a more honest and inclusive way. And I believe that in this way, Pope Francis was a man of courage and of conviction, and also a man of deep spiritual devotion. I watched the film The Two Popes with great interest when it was released back in 2019. Although in cinema we have to be alert to the fact that directors of biopics take creative liberties, I think that the film dramatizes very well the contrast between Pope Francis and his predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI. On one side, you have Pope Benedict, who is the theologian, the guardian of doctrine, who is devoted to orthodoxy. And on the other side, you have Pope Francis, the pastor, the bridge builder, who is devoted to mercy and inclusion. And yet, the film, The Two Popes, shows that even these different visions, through dialogue and humility, can coexist in respect, which I think is a powerful lesson for the church and for the world. For those who don't know, Pope Francis was also a passionate voice for migrants. Soon after becoming Pope, he visited Lampedusa, which is an Italian island at the heart of the migrant crisis in Europe. And he visited it to honor those who had died at sea and also to condemn what he called the globalization of indifference. It was an opportunity to remind us that migrants are not numbers, and he specifically said that they are persons. They are not mere social or migrant issues. They are not problems. They are people, human beings deserving respect and compassion. So for him, migrants represent all individuals marginalized by society, and he urged the Catholic Church to prioritize the least ones, and so the migrants in particular, in its mission. In one of his boldest moves in 2023, Pope Francis approved a document called Fiducia Supplicans, which allowed prayers to bless same sex couples, not as a marriage, but as an acknowledgement of love, commitment, and dignity. He emphasized that individuals seeking God's love and mercy should not be subjected to an exhaustive moral analysis to receive a blessing. Already a decade earlier, he had already stunned the world with a simple, humane question, which was, if someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge? That one sentence signaled a more compassionate and open tones towards the LGBTQ community. It actually gave hope and changed lives. Symbolic moments like this trigger conversations and invite people to open their minds. And so Pope Francis made it okay to talk about those difficult topics with consideration and tolerance. He gave permission to be human and to see humanity in everyone. As Pope, Pope Francis inherited the daunting task and duty of leading us in the footsteps of Jesus, the Prince of Peace, in a world that is far more complex than 2,000 years ago. Today, technology races ahead, power dynamics shift, crises are global, and we are uncertain that the human soul is evolving in wisdom as fast as needed to tackle these challenges. And yet, Pope Francis stood there and reminded us relentlessly of something timeless, which are compassion, humility, and peace. Having known three popes in my lifetime, I, for one, am very inspired, encouraged, and admirative of how Pope Francis navigated those complexities. He knew how to lift the lid on long-standing taboos in the Catholic Church in a way that was both thoughtful and courageous. He opened doors. He didn't pretend to have all the answers, no, but he showed us how to listen, how to love, and how to begin again. Could he have gone further? Perhaps, but in his short time, with his reforming spirit, I think he did brilliantly and he inspired me and many others across the world. That's why Pope Francis was, in his own way, a true Prince of Peace. Rest in peace, my beloved Pope Francis.